Hi there, hello, I'm Clifford Bates, and welcome once again to reading Machiavelli's Discourses. Today we're continuing Book 1, looking at today at chapter 26, which, as the title says, a new prince should make everything new in a city, or that's a bad one, should make new in a city or a province taken by him. Now this, we have to remember in the last chapter he ends with that, about discussion of trying to preserve things, if you're trying to preserve something in a city going from but then he qualifies that this is true for republics and monarchies, but not for tyrannies, right? Which he promises that he's going to talk about in the next chapter, and this is the next chapter. So a new prince should make everything new in a city or province taken by him. So the question of this is the new prince, and it suggests that he's a tyrant. Okay, it's going to be absolute authority, as the old authors called, the old ancient authors called. So therefore, this is interesting. So this is the context of how the last chapter ends, saying he's going to talk about this kind of rule, absolute rule, in the next chapter. But then the title of this chapter is misleading, saying that a new prince over new territory, right? This idea, a new prince should make everything new in a city or province taken, or the province but taken by him. A new prince taking something. So this is conquest. So what's going on here? Now let's look at this. This is going to be another small chapter, right? The best remedy, whoever becomes prince of either a city or a state, has for holding that principality is to make everything in that state anew, since he is a new prince. And so much more when his foundations are weak, and he may not turn to his civil life, or by way of either of a kingdom or a republic. In other words, if you cannot use civic life, if you're ruling something, this is the idea. You're ruling something. You're going to be ruling a new city. You're going to be ruling a city or a province, and you can't rely on civic life, on a turn to civic life that is found in either a kingdom or a republic. In other words, the matter is not capable of being governed civically, as politically in that sense. So let's continue, as he says here, he ends at the colon. That is, to make in cities new governments with new names, new authorities, and new men. In other words, new names, new authorities, and new men. To make the rich poor, the poor rich, as David did when he became king. So King David, the metaphors of King David. Remember, again, this reminds us of the prince, which is it, book 5, new princes, princes by virtue, right? 6, chapter by 6, a prince which was acquired by one's own arms, right? The great princes in that sense. But David, the example of David, right? The example of David is the great captain, right? When he became king, who filled the hungry with good things, and sent the riches away empty, right? This is from wait a minute. That Luke 1 said the God. Okay, yeah, this is from Luke 1 verses 53, the quote from the New Testament. So that David filled the hungry with good things and sent the rich away empty. Besides this, again metaphor. The quote is from Luke, the New Testament, and referring to Jesus. Okay, not David. And that was this is why this passage is interesting. That it is the quote from the New Testament, Luke, about Christ, but now he's using it Machiavelli raised this is about the tyrant, okay, the one who's going to conquer a territory, right? So it's interesting. He says, now, besides this, to build new cities, to take down those built, to exchange the inhabitants from one place to another, and in some, not to leave anything untouched in that province, so that there is no rank, no order, no state, no wealth there, that he who holds it does not know it as you. In other words, those who hold it does not know it as from you. And to take as one's model Philip of Macedon, the father of Alexander, who from a small king became the prince of Greece with these molds. In other words, he took over, he conquered. He's going to rule despotically. He's going to rule it in this way. He's not going to rule it politically. He's going to rule it as a master in that sense, right? This is one way. Remember, we have to understand that Philip conquers the free cities. He makes them subservient. He turns them. He doesn't reform them. He makes them anew. He says, in other words, he again. What does he do? He leaves nothing untouched. That there is no rank, no order, no state, nor wealth, and he who holds it does not know it as from you. In other words, it is not from someone else in that sense. He who writes of him says that he transferred men from province to province as herdsmen transferred their herds. Now, again, this is the book Justin. I think this is the account of Justin's history of this, book 8 of this, or Polybius, book 8, again, account of him in that sense. So therefore, in other words, he moved people around. He moved it like they were herds, right? He moved people from one province as they transfer herds. These modes are very cruel and enemies to every way of life, not only Christian but human. And any man whatsoever should flee them, and wish to live in private rather than as king, with so much rule unto men. In other words, this kind of rule is going to be. It is what he says. It's cruel, very cruel. Modes are very cruel, and it's an enemy to every way of life, not only Christian but human. He says, and every man would rather flee them, and to live a private rather than as king, was ruler in that sense, with so much to ruin to men. Nevertheless, he who does not wish to take this first way of other words, he who does not wish to take this first way of the good must either enter into this evil one, as if he wishes to maintain himself. In other words, again, in other words, the first way of life. In other words, if you wish to maintain order, right? If you don't make it a civic life, if you don't choose civic life, if you don't have the option or the ability to turn to a civic mode, he says you must use this one. He says, in other words, if you not wish to take this first way of life, way of the good, right, the good way that he talked about, the civic one, the good must enter this evil one if he wishes to maintain himself. In other words, the good ruler, if he wants to maintain himself, in other words, if you can't have the option to the first way, a civic way, if that is not an option, it's not possible, then this is what you have recourse to. This is the choice you're forced with, right? It's not a good choice. You must enter into this evil one. But men But men take certain middle ways that are very harmful, for they do not know how to be either altogether wicked or altogether good, as will be shown by the example in the next chapters. In other words, this idea, in other words, he then raises the problem of the middle way, the desire that you have your choice here. You can either take the political way, which is good, but it's, you have to, that is the good way, a good way, and not evil, or this wicked way. And men don't know how to be one. He says, men don't really know. But men take certain middle ways that are harmful. The middle way here is said to be harmful. It's like the problem of in logic, the excluded middle. That we don't like. We have two choices. We don't like this, and we try to prefer something in the middle that is not really possible. For Machiavelli, he's going to say they are harmful. That the middle way is going to be harmful here, right? Why? Because they do not know how to be altogether wicked or altogether good. And this is going to be shown in the next chapter. So we'll stop here, and we'll see what we do next time. I hope everything like it. If you like it, hit the like button. Hit the like button, please. Share it far and wide. Share the video far and wide in your social media and other things like this. Share it to your friends. Again, anytime you do this, if you like the thing, or as another thing you can do is, if you have any comments, questions, or things like this you have regarding this chapter, please put the comments there, and I will respond to them when I see them. Like I said, like it, share it, and if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. It helps the channel. Again, commenting, liking, sharing, and subscribing, all this activity does help the video to get the algorithm to give this video more attention. Now, if you didn't like it, you can always thumb down it, but if you do, please put a comment why, so we can learn and what's wrong, and share it with us and people can benefit from it. Another thing we can do is you can want to follow me on social media, you can follow me on social media, links are below. If you want to know more about me as a scholar and a researcher and check out my scholarship and research and things like that, you can do so by the academic social media links that are below the social media links. And if you want to help me to do what I do, because this is expensive in the sense that I decided to buy new computer stuff and things, and the computer's being repaired and it hasn't come. We had a disaster on computers. You'll hear about this when I get my Friday stream. You can do so by being a Patreon or Subscribe Star, a member, and contribute to that way. Or you can just buy one of my books or art that are available either through Amazon, either bookstore or Amazon, through an online distributor, or through the publishers themselves. Well, that's it. We'll see you next time when we look at chapter 27. Take care and have a great day.